Testing. Hey, how we doing, everybody? Welcome in. We got a special edition of the WillCo Sports Power Hour coming in live here from Tony's Eat and Drink on a very special St. Patrick's Day. Happy to have you, everyone, on board here for the next hour. We got some fun high school athletics to chat. We got Independence High School boys basketball represented. We got Summit Wrestling in the house. We got Brentwood girls basketball in here as well, too. My name's Charles Pulliam. I'm the sports editor at the Williamson Herald. Happy to have everyone here again. Again, a very exciting, great weather here. We obviously have a nice, fun holiday, too. Want to give a quick shout-out to some of our great sponsors out there. Tim Thompson, Premier Realtors, Gateway Tire and Service, Toyota Cool Springs, and Stonegate Homes. Again, this show is streamed live on the Williamson Herald Facebook page. Be sure to check that out. We're also on the Gateway Tire Facebook page, too. It'll be recorded, shared on YouTube and Spotify and all those great services as well, too. But happy to have everyone on board here. I think we're going to dive right into some special guests here, too, because we do have a loaded lineup here, too. And it's fortunate, too, because the old Independence guys, well, they're wearing some green here, too. So if I get Coach Mark Wilkins to come on up and hang out for a little bit, we're going to get introduced and get started right off the bat here. Again, the Independence boys finding a way, getting into that state tournament for a third consecutive year. Really excited to have Coach Wilkins here. And, of course, it's a busy week, Coach.
Yeah, we're thankful it's a busy week. You know, this time of the year, this is definitely the latest we've ever played just because how the TWSL calendar fell. Never did I ever think I'd be coaching on St. Patrick's Day, but very thankful to do that. You know, just even yesterday we were talking – was the one-year anniversary of the state championship. So we're excited to be playing again, for sure.
Well, we definitely have the right colors on, that's for sure, right?
Had to make sure. That's
exactly,
right.
Exactly. Coach, this is it's just something you think about when we first got to meet you and get introduced to you here in Williamson County. We got to play in that sectional game. I remember that was an on the road. I think we're at Lebanon there actually too.
Yep.
When you think back to these 4 years, there's a couple guys that we're going to get a chat with here. They've really kind of been there from the beginning, too.
Yeah, they have.
Tell us a little bit about just this journey that you've been able to get on and just what it means to be able to get back to that state tournament here for a third year in a row. And, again, playing in a sectional round 4 straight years is one heck of an accomplishment, too.
Well, we like that our guys expect to play in this late in the year. We also know how rare and how difficult it is, or at least we do as coaches. Because it is. I mean, I think our district top to bottom is one of the best, if not the best, in the state. Therefore, our region is too. And then getting to the sub-state, it just every step along the way is such a very, very difficult to do. We feel very blessed that, like you said, for 4 years we've been in the Sweet 16, and now for the last 3 years we've been in the Elite 8. And our guys are just. I know as a coach, that's something rare, right? Like I said earlier, I think that our guys and these 4 especially, have come to work for it, know that it's going to happen. We got to keep believing. We got to keep playing. Even if we're not playing our best in December or January, March is our month. And so super proud of them. And we know as coaches, too, that we're not here without the 2 guys we're going to talk about tonight. Tylan's been, kind of been that steady hand for 4 years. Dawsyn for these last 2 years. But both of them just day in, day out have put a lot of time in, so I'm super proud of them.
Coach, when you think about just the ride this has been, last year to win that first state championship in Williamson County for first time since 1989. I mean, we made a big history just last season. So many guys from that team. It's, we've talked about it before. It's kind of strange to have to go back to kind of look forward here, but how did this team find a way to get that rhythm again going in March?
Yeah, I think that our senior class has always been special. It's definitely been special to me. This was the freshman class when I got here. And so it's always been a group that we've had great groups ahead of them, but also knew this is going to be a good group for us too. I think that they would say that they even believed last year when we left the state tournament, obviously feeling elated, that they were ready to go do it under their terms as well. And just kind of, even then they were starting to think about it and moving on. And, and I told them, we talked about it even today as we started practice, if we had said, this time last year, we're going to be here again and we want to take advantage of this moment, wouldn't you sign up for that? Or even as freshmen, wouldn't you, if we said, hey, little freshman Tylan and Dawsyn, when you're seniors, we're going to be playing this state tournament again, how excited would you be, And so, we're just, once again, just feel so blessed that we can do this. And, I think it is It's been fun for me as a coach to have some of those alumni. You think about even Matt Witt and Josh and that group when they got the state runner-up. They're excited for these guys. They're getting their moment. And then obviously fast forward, we had Jet and Corbin at the game the other night. And Davis, who's been around. So just been it's been fun to kind of see every year, been passing on the baton. And, now we got underclassmen. I'm not ready for it yet, but they're already thinking about their turn next year. So it's just really a special thing.
We just got to keep it going now, right? I mean, that's just, it's kind of the tradition of sorts for Independence hoops.
Well, good players help with that, and we got some good guys coming up eventually too.
Again, we're chatting here with Coach Mark Wilkins of the Independence boys basketball team. These boys will be playing in the Class 4A state tournament later this week. Coach, looking at that lineup, I mean, right away you guys have that late game Thursday night, and if the scheduling works out just right, it's going to be played at 8:45. I mean, that's a late game.
Yes,
and it probably will go a little later actually too.
Yeah, I've seen that game. I guess this is the third year maybe TWSAA has done that format. Maybe second, but they're trying to figure out with the extra classification how to get 8 more teams, the games needed within the week. So first of all, we're not going to complain about playing in the state tournament. We'll play at midnight. If they need us to play at midnight, we'll play at midnight. But obviously, the only other part about that is Indian Nation is just so special. Williamson County in general about the support that you receive, and so I know if it was a midday game, it'd be packed out. Hoping for the same type of atmosphere as much as possible, even though it is possibly at 9 o'clock at night. Sleep in. Nope, I don't know if that's going to be excused or not. But as far as it is for my classes, we can figure something out. But I just hope that these boys, we've waited. Thankfully, it's our third year. First year we've been there where we're not on spring break. And so I'm really hoping that we're going to have the crowd and the atmosphere that we've dreamed of. And then if we could somehow get to Saturday at 6:30 start, I know we would.
Coach White just needs to find a way to make sure to keep the kids there for an extended period of time after school, huh?
Yes. Can't go home. We'll have activities for you. I'm making all that up. But I do know we're going to do a pep bus. There's some things like that. Our administration is very good about trying to make it as easy as possible for our kids to go.
Well, we got to chat about that opponent on the other side a little bit here before we talk specifically about these guys and get these guys up here too,
Sure.
Coach. But you get a Memphis Whitehaven team that is very talented, coming in 31-3. These guys are another state veteran of sorts here, too. Having to get that night game against a talented team like that, what have you seen from some film from Whitehaven so far?
Yeah, they're long. They're very athletic. Thankfully, the last 3 or 4 years, even going back, we were talking about this earlier today, our first year here, about our third game, we played a guy named Brayden Miller, second pick in the draft. And then you move forward to, the teams we were able to play in Memphis and, when they were sophomores, just kind of been trying to play the best. And so I don't know how Thursday's going to go. They're very talented. They're very athletic. They're very long. But we're not going to be nervous. We're not going to be scared. We're hoping to use that to our advantage. Our guys, hopefully, can just go play. Where even though Whitehaven has some great players, they even had some transfers from guys who have played in the state tournament last year for different teams. But we think that experience hopefully will help us, that the lights aren't going to be too bright. Once the ball goes up, it's basketball. And we're going to try to use that to our advantage.
A couple of years ago, coming to you and chatting about, hey, the experience side of things. These are guys that we're going to chat with here that have played in back-to-back state championship games. Not only just getting on that field, getting on that court and having that opportunity. What's that do for a team, for your team in particular, to just have that experience of knowing what it takes to get to that game, to win that game, and just being on the stage?
Yeah, our first state tournament game against Blackman, it was hard to score for a while there. So there's a little bit of some jitters and just some nervousness. And then things kind of settled in. And then the next 2 games kind of got going. But last year was the complete opposite. We had almost 90 points with Laverne. So I'm kind of hoping that, I don't know how Thursday's going to go, but obviously hoping for more of let's get in a rhythm, let's play. It's just basketball. The court's bigger, the opponent's different. The lights are brighter. But I do think the Williamson County games help. Having a lot of people at a game, hey, we've done that 20 times this year. So,
well, and you think of Independence and your guys' hosting ability and what it's like having that atmosphere night in and night out, that helps a lot too.
I think so. I do. And so I think that our kids are, like I said, just going to – I think that's a big part of it, not being nervous about who your opponent is and not being just excited to be there. You got to go ready to go play basketball. They've done this, countless hours. It's just the same game. And, kind of the old Hoosiers. It's still 10 feet tall, 15 feet from the free throw line. It's still basketball once we get started.
when you kind of look at the bracket as a whole, really quick, Coach, we're not trying to look ahead, but just seeing some of those other teams out there, who are some teams that really kind of stand out to you besides this Whitehaven in that first round?
Yeah, we've been kind of looking around. Just kind of, you get such a long break before this first game, and then if you win that first game, you go game. So we're trying to kind of already get a little bit of film on both teams, Walker Valley and Oak Ridge, that we could play. And besides that, we haven't really looked too much further because it could be one of 4 teams, right? You see some teams on the other side of the bracket with Hillsboro, who we've played before and know, even though they're playing way better now, and Maryville too. That's a team we played earlier in the year. So thankfully, our schedule has, I think, set us up really well to play in these type of games because we've played one of the hardest schedules we could find. So we're kind of getting a little bit peeking around the corner as coaches, but we're not telling any of the players that we want them to stay focused on Whitehaven.
Well, speaking of players, let's talk about these guys before we get them up here. Couple seniors here. We got co-Gateway Tire Athletes of the Week here. Pretty special. We don't get to do that very often.
Yeah.
And both these guys so deserving after such a busy couple weeks here, from the region tournament to winning in that sectional game to getting back into this performance here. Tell us a little bit about these seniors, starting with Dawsyn Miller and what he's been able to do for this team.
Well, they've played together. They'll probably get to this, and you already know this already too, because you always do your homework. But they've been, middle school teammates, played together for a long time. Just great kids, very unselfish kids, and I believe that character has allowed us to make some runs here. But Dawson's one of those guys that's been well storied, but still needs to be noted again that he kind of got thrusted into the lineup a little bit after Christmas last year, and we really needed some different energy, some defense that he could bring to the floor. And obviously, the biggest memory that comes out amongst many other things was the Final Four game with Rossview, nearly back-to-back possessions where he hits identical threes from the corner, from the opposite corner, right, where it hits the rim, hits the backboard, goes in on both sides of the floor. But just having that confidence. He had a big one against Cookeville from the very beginning in himself, and that comes from countless hours of him putting in and being ready for his moment. He's been, documented as a great shooter, but he is a great defender. Him and Tylan draw the best 2 players every night. So they got to score, they got to handle the ball, they got to rebound, and they got to defend. And these 2 guys have been up for the challenge, really going back to last year in the Christmas. And we didn't lose a game after Dawsyn was a starter, so super proud of him. And, and then I know you mentioned it too already with Tylan. Every accolade, every recognition that he gets, I believe he deserves, and I believe he's a Mr. Basketball candidate. He's not technically this year, as we know. But I think he hopefully can use that maybe a little bit too to his advantage. But he is the best defender in the state. He's really become a great leader for us this year, and he's just a winner. They both are. They just find ways to win that we don't coach. They just make plays that just make us look really smart, and Tylan's been doing that for a long time.
When you get these guys paired together and leading this team, talk about how they've affected those underclassmen and showed, like, hey, this is what it takes. This is follow us. We know how to set a tone defensively and on offense. Just do what we're doing.
I think the thing that I love about them the most is they let us coach them. If a younger guy doesn't box out, it's easier to say, hey, you got to fix that and make him do a punishment. But we do the same thing to Tylan and Dawsyn. They just yes, sir, every time. They go right into it. They believe in it. So them allowing us to hold them accountable, everybody else just kind of falls in line. Hey, if coach is going to get on to Tylan, hey, he's going to get on to me, And so it just allows us to have extremely competitive practices that I think has really helped us. I've never heard either one of them complain ever. I know there's some things that we do that's hard, and they probably disagree with, but, man, they just keep coming every day with great attitudes, and it just sets the whole tone for the practice. A guy like Nick Degnan just fits in so well, but once again, because he's seen these other guys do it too, it's just been such a culture setter for us.
Coach, I got to at least mention here, too, I know in the family here, this is always a busy time here, and we're actually going to be chatting with another Coach Wilkins here a little later, too. In terms of how the family's been doing, give us a quick update here and what it means to have their support here, too.
Yeah, it's pretty special. At least twice this year we got to go be a part of sitting behind the opposite bench at Brentwood and at home, which is a weird perspective, but glad to do it. I saw you took the picture.
Yeah, it was a little more of a muted color tone then, I think.
Yeah, I didn't really know how to react. But thankfully, our family has been kind of actually playing against each other some, so we kind of know a little bit how to act. But really special to have John here. I think he did an awesome job in his first year being thrown in with a kind of an older team in some spots in a high-pressure Williamson County basketball environment. Did a great job, ran into a really good team in Lincoln County. But it's going to be a perennial power year in, year out. And then obviously having the cousins hang out together is pretty special.
You got some Independence green and gold or blue for him lined up for Thursday?
We're going to try to. We're going to make sure he's not on camera. I don't know how Brentwood would feel about that, but we'll get him some some gear he can wear for sure.
Coach, man, really looking forward to Thursday night. Again, a night game. It's going to be a late one there at the Glass House. Thursday, 8:45. It's scheduled. Independence is going to be playing Whitehaven in the Class 4A state championships. Coach, really looking forward to this. Thank you so much for some time. I think we need to get these guys up
Let's
here.
do
How's
it.
that
Yes,
sound?
sir. Thank you, Charles.
Everybody, again, Coach Mark Wilkins of Independence. Happy to have him on board here. Our great sponsors out there include Matthews Team Sports, Trucking Fork here, Tennessee, Southern Trophy, and John Mayer Builders. I got Tylan Lewis and Dawsyn Miller. Guys, come on up here. Yeah, as Coach said, speaking of the mic, good stuff. Guys, very busy here, obviously, tonight. We're hanging out at Tony's Eat and Drink. Live stream out there on the Williamson Herald Facebook page, but happy to have you both here. This has kind of become, it's weird to say, but tradition of sorts for chatting with some Independence boys here in late March, because sure enough, we're back on that state tournament stage. Dawsyn, let's start with you, man. What's it mean to be playing back on this stage after winning the title last year?
It means everything to us, just our culture and what we expect every year. It's just an amazing feeling to go back and do it again, and hopefully we go back to back.
When it comes to getting back to this stage, Tylan, talk about that journey, what you guys endured, and just what it kind of took, because, you know, it's tough to play in Williamson County. It's tough to advance out of this region, and sure enough, you guys make it all the way back to the state tournament.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be hard compared to last year because we were so talented, but this year a lot of people doubted us, so we just came in to practice in every game with a chip on our shoulder to do it again. And it's really been a journey. It's been a hard one for sure, but I'm really proud of the guys for getting to where we are.
Dawsyn, tell us a little bit about this season as a whole. Let's kind of go back before the new year a little bit. We're still feeling things out. You know, we lost a few games. We played some really tough teams. What's going through your guys' minds as you're building to find that rhythm when you kind of need to?
Yeah, we had a couple of rocky games there, but our team never lost faith in what we could do and what we knew we could accomplish. And I think we really just found a momentum starter with a lineup change, maybe putting Harris in it. Helps us a lot on defense and some offense. But I think as a team, we just kept faith in one another, and we just were able to go on that run.
Tylan, can you speak on the defensive effort of this team? Because what you guys put forth out there is something pretty special, and I think you guys take a lot of pride in limiting those opportunities on the other side. How tough is this defense, and how great is this defense to be a part of?
Yeah, I think our defense just gives us a lot of confidence. On nights that we're not making a lot of shots, we're not hitting shots, we can always rely on our defense to shut down the best players on the other team, and I think that keeps us close in a lot of games, and we can end up getting a lot of wins off of that.
How about this guy for a defender next to you? Tell me a little bit about going against Dawsyn every day in practice.
Yeah, he's definitely developed as a great defender over the years. We needed him to step up in that role for us to win games, so I'm really proud of him for doing that, and it's been big for us.
Dawsyn, how about you on the other side there, having this guy in practice, working with one another? Nick, of course, there too. Tell me about how you guys build off of one another.
Yeah, you know, we battle each other every day in practice. We're always guarding each other, getting each other better on the offensive end and defensive end. But we just work off each other on both ends, guarding the best guys every night and going down offensively and scoring on the other end with each other.
You know, one of those things we see consistently here is oftentimes you guys are taking that best player on the other team, and that's regardless of size. That's you guys are giving up inches oftentimes, but it just doesn't matter. Tell me about the mindset, Tylan, about being that defender and, you know, banging with a Christian Brown at Franklin, guys like that, you know, where you're giving up some height, but hey, this is just what we got to do.
Yeah, I think I'll just do whatever it takes to win, honestly. Just coach gives me a game plan, and I just take it on head on. So I'm hoping to do that same thing in the state game this Thursday.
Dawsyn, for you, same kind of thing. What's that mentality like when you take the court?
Yeah, no one's better than me on the court when I step on there, and I just know whoever I'm guarding, I don't care who it is, I'm going to get my scouting report, and I'm going to do my best to lock them down.
You mentioned scouting report. We heard it from Coach there. I know you guys have been really busy here, and we've had a little time here actually too, but seeing this Whitehaven team on some film here. Tell me what you guys have seen and what it's going to take. Tylan, starting with you.
I think they definitely got a lot of athletes, and they run the floor very well. I think it's going to take just a lot of toughness from our team and a lot of heart plays. Just doing the simple things is boxing out and keeping them off the boards, and then just coming down to hitting shots and just listening to coach and what he has planned for us.
Dawsyn, for you, in terms of facing that Whitehaven team, what's got to happen here?
Yeah, I think we're not going to be a team that's going to get intimidated by any opponent we face, and we're just going to come down to our fundamentals. Just getting rebounds, boxing them out, don't give them a second chance, and on our end, run our plays correctly and go get shots.
Guys, this is, I know it's been a business-like approach here so far, but you guys have got to play a lot of basketball together here. Tell me about those really early years. When did you guys first start playing together? When did you guys kind of first get introduced to each other?
Yeah, I started playing together in 6th grade, the good old days. But when basketball wasn't so serious. But yeah, it's been a journey for sure. Just to this point, playing in the state championship game with them last year, and then all the way taking our team back again this year. It's been fun for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we've been together for a while. It's been a great ride. I think 8th grade year, we were on all-district team together, and going into our senior year, we were both on the all-region team. So that's great to see that and compare it and how we've grown together.
Coach kind of alluded to it about how, last year it was, you guys being a big part of that team, but now coming back as seniors to get this team back to that state stage. Just tell me about that prideful feeling that's got to be something to be like, hey, yeah, we could do this too.
Yeah, we graduated a lot last year, and I feel like a lot of credit was given to the seniors. And, we did. Me and Dawsyn did our thing, but I think the seniors got a lot of credit for it. But it just feels good to be us two seniors taking our team back and being the prideful ones in it. So it's great.
Dawsyn, that feeling of, hey, this is my team this year, and we're here. Tell me about what that means to get them back.
Yeah, we're both definitely stepping into a bigger role this year, leading this team, being the only returning players with experience in these state tournament games. It just means a lot to us to lead this team back to it and let them experience it as well.
Let's go back to that sectional game because, Beach is there. You guys played them the year before. Same kind of setting at home, though, but things weren't really going your way for a while there. You actually in a hole there in the 4th quarter. What did it take to rally the crew and to get in front and take that 43-36 win?
I think we just really locked in on defense. We held them to not scoring much in the 3rd or 4th, and then we came down and hit some big shots. I hit some big shots, and then Dawsyn hit the super big shot to tie it up. So I think it just came down to just locking in and wanting to win.
Big shots and Mr. Super Big Shots. Is that the way we should go with it? Yeah. But that finish, how'd you guys pull that out, Dawsyn?
Yeah, it just came down to trusting one another. I mean, that big shot came from an assist from Tylan on a fast break, so I'm not going to take all the credit there. But I think we had 23 points all game until the 4th, and I think 21 in the 4th. So I think it just came down to not losing faith in our team and what we can do.
That atmosphere at home, knowing that's your last game on that court as a senior too. I mean, what was it like when you did get that edge and knowing like, hey, it's time to cut down some nets again?
Yeah, it all settled in when I got the dunk to seal the game. That was my last 2 points at home. So it was really emotional for me. I was really happy, and for my family and for all my teammates to get a win was a big deal for sure.
Dawsyn, that feeling as a senior being on that court one more time and going out with the W?
Yeah, it was amazing, of course. None of us wanted to go out on a loss, and we wanted to bring it to state. And it was an amazing feeling, and we have a ton of fans there, even over spring break. It just means a lot for our fans and our team. It was a great feeling.
Well, we got Coach Wilkins here, and I know you guys have been with him from day one here. And this is a guy who has helped lead you guys right to that Class A for a sectional game all 4 years, back to the state tournament, state championship last year. I mean, the resume is pretty good. I mean, tell us about Coach here a little bit and just what it's been like playing for this guy.
Yeah, it's been great because he adjusts so well to the opponents, and he puts us in the right spots to make plays. Me and Dawsyn have scored lots of points, but if it wasn't for Coach Wilkins, we wouldn't be in the right places to make those plays and stuff. So I just give credit to him for taking us to these sectional games in the state tournament multiple years.
Yeah, he puts a ton of faith in our leaders and our team, and he tells us that he can coach all he wants, but it's got to be us that sits down and guards at the end of the day and scores buckets. But it really goes back to our coaching staff and the scouting they do that helps us get in those defensive positions in that offensive scheme.
What would you guys say about Coach's athleticism here? I've seen him jump up and down quite a bit multiple times during the game here, and it's impressive. He's pretty animated on the sidelines sometimes, huh?
Yeah, especially if he doesn't get a call that doesn't go his way, or every time I dunk, he tends to jump. So that's fun.
He's mimicking it, I think, right? Yeah. He could be doing it, but he just prefers you doing it, I think, right, Tom? Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I see. Well, guys, final thoughts before we let you go here. Thursday night, tell us what are we going to see from the Independence boys? What is it going to be like going out on that state stage one more time?
Yeah, it's a late one, so I'm expecting to just come out with over-exaggerating energy in the first quarter. Just kind of get the jitters out. Everyone's going to be nervous, so I'm just looking to come out and just have a steady game starting out. That's been rough for us this season. We haven't really started out on a good roll, but this game I'm really looking to just come out and put the ball in the bucket.
Dawsyn, for you?
I think you're just going to see a ton of grit on the defensive end. I think we're really just going to sit down and guard this team and take passion and shutting down the team that's been number one in the state for a while now. And we're just going to have a ton of energy and excitement to play the end of this game.
Is there something to be said about that night game, being the late one there, playing probably around 9 and getting out of there at who knows when?
I think it's great, honestly. I mean, it doesn't matter when we play them. I think it's a showcase game. We're the last game in the gym, so I think there will be a lot of people there to watch it, and I'm looking to come out with a win.
Guys, I got a couple plaques here. I got one for Tylan here. I got one for Dawsyn as well. Guys, you guys are the latest Gateway Tire Male Athletes of the Week. Congratulations, our first teammates of the year here, too, so really special. Couple seniors here, everybody. They'll be playing in the state tournament Thursday night. Tylan Lewis, Dawsyn Miller. Guys, thank you so much for coming to join us here, man.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Congratulations to those two guys. Not done yet. Again, Independence playing in this Class 4A state tournament here on Thursday night against Whitehaven. Pretty big deal. Looking forward to seeing those guys. These are the defending state champs. 2 years ago, they were playing in that state title game as well, too. So really excited for them and a big, stiff challenge out of the gate. Thursday night's going to be a fun one at the Glass House in Murfreesboro. Well, we chatted with one Coach Wilkins. We got another Coach Wilkins in the house. If I can get Coach John up here, we'll get started, and we'll chat a little Brentwood High School hoops here as well. Again, this is the WillCo Sports Power Hour. We're live here at Tony's Eat and Drink. We're here every Monday night. Some of our great sponsors include Tim Thompson, Premier, Realtors, Gateway Tire and Service, and, of course, Toyota of Cool Springs. Got our other coach, Wilkins, in the house here. Coach, thanks so much for coming to join us here. I know that it seems like somebody in this family is playing at this time every year. And sure enough, hey, we got little brother's going to go out one more time, huh?
Yeah, no, kind of crazy. The rest of us dropped the ball this year, but glad that, him being the last one playing there, I mean, that's exciting, getting to watch this game the other night. And obviously it's one that could have gone a lot of different ways, but, kind of hearing bits and pieces of what he was saying, you can tell that his kids do expect to win. And, when you're a program that expects to win, you're always dangerous.
Coach, coming into this season, I mean, Mark alluded to it here a little bit. I mean, always a tough transition at any time, moving into a different county, being a part of another team, getting the family situated, all those different things. And sure enough, here we go out there. We win a district title first season in the WillCo, loaded up. I mean, tell me about these Brentwood girls and just how much fun it was joining this team and leading these girls.
Yeah, I mean, even just like the time in here tonight, you can see over here, we've got, half of them here tonight. And that, just kind of dawned on me thinking today, like, beyond basketball, thing that, and I sent them a text earlier, like, I just really enjoyed how they all support each other and pull for each other, and just the kind of the culture that, that I was blessed to be a part of. And, I've got my own 3 little girls running around in here, hanging on them, climbing on them, and, they're taking them out back and playing whatever with them. And so that's just neat that, just the family feel, a bunch of great kids, and for us to be able to, beyond that, also get on the court and compete. A lot of competitors in the room that, they just have a lot of grit too. And these kids want to win, and they were hungry. And, going to the district tournament, I thought, we strung together several games there where several of them stepped up and played some of their best basketball. Obviously, ultimately, we fell a little bit short in the semifinals of the region. And, it's one of those that I know all coaches would say this, but if we could run it back and play it again, I feel confident that we might have had a chance to play last week, but it's just not the way it fell. But still proud of the groundwork that they laid, and kind of building for the future.
That's the thing. We chatted offline a couple times just about the state field and what that was like, and sure enough, Bradley Central rolls in there, gets another state championship in dominant fashion. This field, the first game was the best game for Bradley Central, facing the region champion there in a Coffee County. That was a team I know you ended up trying to scout a little more, thinking of a potential matchup there. When you think about that challenge out there and looking back and seeing what Coffee was able to do against Bradley and just everything that goes into that, tell us about your thoughts on the state tournament as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, Coffee County obviously had a great year, and, it is a shame the way it falls to be undefeated and play probably the preseason, number 1 pick, first round. And I know that there's a lot of talk, and I don't know that I have the best way, but there's got to be, a way to look at that differently, as far as just making the matchups a little bit, maybe weighing them a little bit better. But we knew that, Coffee County was a team that I knew as soon as I took the job that Coffee and Lincoln were 2 teams that I hoped I was going to have a chance to play late in the year. And so I kind of had my eye on them off and on all season. And, they've got a great team, just right there with Lincoln. They had several battles. They came out on top, but they were all close, competitive games. And I felt the same way. I felt like, on a given night, if we got production from, the multiple kids we needed to, that we could compete with each of them. And one side I didn't want to watch state tournament, but on the other hand, I kept finding myself, my wife kept turning it back on for me. And I'm looking out there and I'm saying, okay, there's Bartlett. We played them, in January, and we're able to, beat them. And then there's Bearden. We're in the fourth quarter. It's a 2-score game. There's Webb, who wins the Division II, all the way across the tournament, different teams that we had scheduled and played, and we were right there toe-to-toe with. And, so that's just why I felt confident, and, that if we could do it again, like I said, but, I mean, our girls proved they can compete at that level. And, sometimes the chips fall how they fall, and, there's only one team left standing at the end. But, I think they proved to themselves and hopefully, the program as a whole, that we're ready to compete at that level, and we've just got to find ways to get a little better.
This group as a whole here, too, some veteran players we've been seeing in the county here for quite a while. Tell us a little bit about this group and how you've kind of seen them develop and change here through this season, and just, like you said, to elevate into that, hey, we belong at this kind of setting kind of stage, too.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that I've not even been here a year yet, just from the whirlwind moving in last July. And I remember my assistant coach, it's kind of funny at the time, but then it became genius to me later. The day of tryouts, he had them all take a picture, and they would hold it, and it had their name, like name tag on it. And I was like, man, it's kind of goofy, but then I was like, actually send me those tonight, coach, because I don't know who any of these kids are. And so, I'm sitting there like constantly I felt like all summer just trying to figure out who they are, and that's so much of coaching is not just their name, but like what makes them tick. How do you motivate this kid? Is what types of button to push. And one thing that I felt like I really was pleased is I saw a lot of their confidence grow, in themselves individually. Maybe not even realizing some of the things that they were capable of doing. And as the season went on, even right to the very end, some of my seniors, that are in the room tonight, like they would tell you themselves, like they just I bet. Wife's leaving here to run my other kid to practice. That's this time of year. But, just to start see that not only they believe in themselves, they believed in the team. And early on, I felt like I was having to convince them we can beat the Pages, the Nolensvilles, or whoever, and I could tell they wanted to believe that, but they weren't really sure. And, then at some point that kind of switched, and I think they started stepping on the floor expecting to win. And when that happens, you've got a chance.
One of the players we get to chat with here tonight, I'm actually going to have her join us here as well, too. If you don't mind, kind of introduce Miss Castagna for us as she comes up and joins us. We'll have a mic for her as well. Olivia, come on up and join us. But, Coach, tell us about this young lady and just what she meant to this team here.
Yeah, Olivia's a special girl that, I enjoyed to get to know, not just as a basketball player, but, as a person. First day that I met Liv, I didn't really know how to read her body language, and I've told her all this before. So, but, I was like, I just don't know about this kid. Like some of the looks she'd give me, and, but that was really just probably her being a little bit shy, me not really knowing her, because as I got to know her, like, she's got an infectious smile, and she's just the kindest, one of the kindest human beings that you've been around. The patience, again, that I see her with my own children, and just we did all these little kids camps and different things, and they're all really good with the little kids, but Liv is great with teaching, kindergarten, first, second, third, so patient and just does a great job of interacting with those kids, and you can tell that they really look up to her, and she's got a couple of her little sisters sitting in here too that also look up to her that same way, and they're in the gym half the time with us, coming over in the afternoon to watch practice or whatever, and are doing their ballerina dancing on the sideline or whatever. Very talented, but Liv is a great person, but man, she's also a competitor. She was one that me and my staff talked about a lot, that she was going to be a key for us down the stretch. If we could get Liv doing some of the things that she could do, and then she's one of those that I felt like I'm having to say, hey, Liv, you've got to attack the rim. When you do that, you're tough to stop. And she elevates so well, and I just think, I don't even know that she really realized that she could be a weapon that she ended up being for us. And there were some games late where she was a weapon. And, a big part of why we were able to win some big games, because now all of a sudden, here's somebody else you got to worry about. And, I really enjoyed coaching her and just watching her grow, and realizing that, when she gets tired and she thinks she wants to quit and coach tells her she can't, she actually can keep going. And, I saw her push through those milestones, and just very proud of her, and she's going to be successful whatever she does off the court as well.
Again, we're chatting here with Coach Wilkins of Brentwood High. We got one of our recent Gateway Tire Female Athletes of the Week in Olivia Castagna in the house here. And, Olivia, Coach talking about you like that and how you kind of had to emerge and become one of those scoring threats, leaders on the court. Tell us a little bit about this year and just what it was like getting to compete.
Yeah, so senior year is obviously like a huge year for me, and I've been blessed with a brand new coach, but he really knew how to like hone us in on stuff that we knew we could do. But I think just coming in, we were a bit anxious. Obviously change is a little scary in your last year. I wasn't really sure how it was gonna turn out for me, but it was one of the best things that's happened to me in my basketball career, and I'm very blessed.
This group you had that you've been a part of for a while here. I mean, I see a couple of the girls here, obviously too. Growing with them, adjusting to Coach Wilkins' style coming in. What was that like, and how'd you guys come together as the season kind of went on?
Yeah, so there were actually a few girls on our team that I've really grown up with, not just in basketball, but as people. So, I mean, him coming in, and we just knew we had to embrace everything he brought in with him and his philosophies. And I think we just adapted to his style of play. Like, it's tough, but you just got to keep going. And it's been a blessing to grow alongside so many people, so many great people.
Coach, when you have a new team kind of coming forward, I mean, you mentioned it about even just getting names down is something that has to be done. Liv is one of those, obviously, that comes across, and thank you, sir, who just kind of stepped in and found that leadership role. You know, kind of expand on that a little bit, especially as the season went on. Come January, February, into that district meet of play, she ended up being one of those players that you just have to have on the court.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. You know, as I kind of alluded to a minute ago, Liv didn't. I felt like she didn't really realize how tough she could be, and it was either that, probably mixed in with, like a lot of them, she's very unselfish, almost to a fault sometimes. And you know, I haven't had pull her aside and like, Liv, I need you to score. Like, I'm showing her clips of this girl, whoever, and I'm like, this girl right here, like, you can do that every time you want to, Liv, you know, and just kind of having some of those conversations with her on the side, you know, and just convincing her that, you know, not only that, but defensively, we gave her a lot of big responsibilities down the stretch as well. You know, we had several girls we'd rotate in to be a stopper, but there were some times that Liv had to do it. And I'm having those conversations of, like, you cannot take off a play. You've got to go till you can't go anymore. And then if I get a chance, I'll get you out for a second, but you got to go right back in, you know. And she bought into that and even took a charge or two for me down the stretch, which was big time. And, you know, she just Liv was a key, and when she was playing her best, she was a big part of us as a team playing our best.
When you were getting some of that confidence coming, you know, and when you're getting, you know, making defensive stops, scoring the ball, attacking the rim, that kind of thing, tell us about your mindset, Olivia, just what that was like and how you kind of found those grooves quite a bit, actually, too.
So I think a lot of the success we had was because of each other. Like, we just played really well off of each other, and I think the more good plays we had, it's just like we just want that more and more and more. And if we can build our lead to where they can't reach it by the third quarter, then we're done. Like, and I don't know. We have a lot of girls that play very hard when they're in that game, and I don't know. We find the shooters. We find the gaps. We find the shooters. Yeah.
Rebounding was another thing that I need to hone on to. Like, that's when Liv got on the glass, like, that was a difference maker, and she really did a good job of that down the stretch.
Well, and that was kind of looking back and into this district championship here a little bit. Olivia, tell us about finding the rhythm and working together and just getting things clicking here, because sure enough, that was something where you guys found a way again and had to beat another tough team again in that kind of setting. Just tell us how things clicked to get that district title.
So that game was really big for us. Like, we wanted that championship bad because we've been in that position plenty of times, but we just haven't gotten it yet. So we all had that fire in our belly. We were just really excited to go out and play. And I also got to play against some of my former teammates on AAU, so that was just another thing that kind of gave me a little bit of passion, a little bit of fire, and I was excited to play. And I think everybody else was just excited, and we all wanted it so bad, and we showed that.
Coach, that was something we had chatted about that hadn't happened in Brentwood history in quite a while, where, you know, the Bruins are consistently playing in that game and reaching regions and things like that, and even going to the state tournament there with one of our Princeton stars right now, actually, too. But thinking of this team to break through and win that, hey, this is a resume item that we didn't have, to get that district title winning at Page, how big was that?
Well, you know, that was big for them. You know, I'm going to say even more so than me, because to me, you know, Page is the same as Nolensville, is the same as Ravenwood. You know, I didn't grow up here. I don't have the bloodline and the rivalry that they do. But, you know, as the season kind of progressed, I remember asking them at one point, because, you know, Brentwood, Ravenwood is, you're told whatever, you know, that's a rivalry. And I said, girls, who is your rival? And without a doubt, they're just Page. You know, Page. They're just looking at me like, that's who we want to beat. That, you know, they had just had a lot of good battles with them through the years, had a lot of mutual respect for the kids and the coaches, and, you know, they were determined. You know, one thing that I wondered and worried about at times was, would we step on the floor hoping to beat them or expecting to beat them? And, you know, they got a good team and, you know, very fortunate. But to beat them 3 times, I think each time they stepped on the floor with them, you know, I do think it made it a little bit sweeter to them to be able to do it on their home floor there for the district championship. And, And granted, our goals were beyond that. We wanted to keep going, but, you know, now that we've had a little time off, can look back and reflect on, you know, there were some great things that we accomplished. And at some point, you know, you said it hadn't happened since 2011. Like, that kind of blows my mind a little bit, you know, and I know it did yours too when we were looking at it, but they're going to be, they probably got to hear more stories than they wanted to hear about this former kid, whatever. But now Liv's going to be part of the stories of, you know what, this is when we started to, you know, build this tradition to where we're not just hoping to be in a district championship. We're going to win the district every year. You know, like that has to be the mindset. You've got to start there. And granted, you know, who knows what the future holds, but they definitely paved the way and raised the bar. And now this group that's coming back, we got to find a way somehow to build upon that and keep going.
Olivia, can you kind of speak a little bit on that growth and kind of elevating the whole program to be like, this is where we want to be, and we want to actually be further than this, and being a part of that and establishing it, just like Coach said. I mean, what's the future of Brentwood basketball kind of like after this season?
I think they're going to be in attack mode offensively and defensively. That's like one thing we've always focused on is like in our press, not letting them see the floor, and then on offense, they don't get a break. So, I mean, I think they have a really good future ahead, and I think Coach Wilkins got it. So,
you definitely have some supporters here too. We gotta point it out here. Tell us who's here in support for you tonight.
my grandparents, my sisters, my parents, my aunt, and then my amazing teammates.
I heard something about the sisters maybe being dancers too. So did we? Is she a dancer? Is Olivia one there? Have we seen anything from her, Coach?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I've got to see. We can ask little sister here. Can Liv dance? What do you think? She's like, don't ask me that, Coach. I'm sure that she can. You know, I'm sure that she can. But you know, great group of seniors. You know, to get to only have this group 1 year it's great, and it's also kind of bittersweet because I say it a lot, but just great people and people that I coached 1 year, but I know that I'm gonna be in contact with 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and just proud of them and who they are and what they represent. You know, they're the perfect people to represent our basketball program.
Olivia, some final thoughts from you as a senior here, being able to play in this program, being able to reach some heights and just elevate everything here. Give us maybe some parting advice here. Just what's it take? What would you do if you were younger again? Those kind of things. Tell us some advice as a senior here.
I would say just keep working. Like no matter what, whether you're playing a lot, whether you're not, like you got to keep working, got to keep improving. There's never something you are too good at. So the more you practice, the more you are able to perfect your craft. I think it's going to be really beneficial in the long run. And I just think if you continue to compete at the level you know you can, and even maybe pushing beyond that, you'll be in a good spot.
What's next for you here? I know we got a couple months here, but tell us a little bit about where we're going.
I'm not really sure where I'm going to college yet, but UTK is like my number one choice right now. The nursing program or pre-med, I'm not really sure yet.
Okay, well that's right up your alley, right? I mean, pre-med stuff, Coach, you could help out, right?
That's what I was going to do if I didn't coach, but you know, it's just, we had that same conversation today, Tony. She'll have whatever options she wants. She's you know, very very bright young lady and a hard worker at everything she does.
Well, guys, thank you so much. I know we had scheduled this for a while back, and to get to come back after we get to digest some of the season thoughts, it means a lot to be able to host you all here. Olivia, I got a Gateway Tire Athlete of the Week plaque for you here. Again, I thank both of you, Coach Wilkins, Olivia, Brentwood High School represented here. Guys, thank you so much for joining me here.
Tony, man, thanks for your support, man, and everything that you do. And good luck to my little brother tomorrow. Got to win 3 more.
Yeah,
okay.
3 more.
And, of course, you know, tomorrow night, Ella's going to have the Miss Basketball thing, too, which will be neat. You know,
yeah, that's another thing to be mentioned here, too. We'll be hanging out in Murfreesboro, seeing how things go there. Yep. Olivia, congratulations. Really looking forward to seeing just you getting to hang out here as a senior here for a while. Stay close, all right? Thank you. Again, Brentwood High School represented here. Thank you so much. This is the WillCo Sports Power Hour. On to our final guests here of the night here. Again, this is live streamed on the Williamson Herald Facebook page. We're also on the Gateway Tire Facebook page. It'll be out on YouTube, Spotify. Our great sponsors out there, John Mayer Builders, Southern Trophy, Trucking for a Cure, Tennessee, and our great hosts here, Tony's Eat and Drink in Franklin. Coach Miller, if I can get Coach Pete Miller up here of Summit High School. We're going to chat some wrestling here to close things out here as well. Coach, happy to have you back. We're usually not hanging out on St. Patrick's Day, huh?
You're exactly right. Usually at the NCAA wrestling tournament somewhere in the country, cheering on the Mocs. But
yeah.
This is interesting. It's different, but we're talking wrestling.
Well, exactly. We don't mind that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. You are our wrestling guru of sorts here when we get a chat here a little bit. But hey, you kind of mentioned it here. It's been a few weeks actually when we look back on things here. But tell us about these last couple weeks and just kind of settling in and recapping what the high school season was like for your team.
It's another fantastic season for our program. 20-plus win season. 2 losses. We took a loss to a state championship team out of Georgia first round of the Al Miller duels. That was tough. Then, of course, losing in the state finals to Cleveland. But, you know, I was ticked about it at first. Now I look back. We had a pretty good season, especially the program that we have. A lot of leadership from the older guys. I was definitely satisfied with what we put together this season.
Well, and that's something we've chatted about a lot, too, is just that steady growth here. We were just chatting with Coach Mark Wilkins there at Independence there about how it's this seniors group. It's their time to be like, hey, we got this, too. We're going to keep this program elevated. Tell us a little bit about some of those guys that just got it done to keep you guys competitive and right at the top here in the state.
You know, it's the leadership of these older guys that are here supporting one another. You know, led by Brayden Leach, state champion, doing his thing. Peter Savarino at the heavyweights, always great to have a heavyweight you can count on. You know, but a junior, Zachary Little, finally getting his time through to be able to get things done. But along with those other seniors, you know, Braylon Pelkey had a phenomenal January and February. David Demarest stepped up, did some great things. Mikey Posey is consistently Mikey Posey. So we had a lot of great stuff out of some of those seniors. But a lot of people look at our program and say, man, you're losing a lot. We are. We have a lot of little brothers who are about to step in and hopefully break some of the older brothers' records.
That you know, having the youth side come through here quite a bit here. You've been a part of this program here for a couple generations of brothers now here. Tell us a little bit about how important that is to have these younger guys just rolling around and getting ready and watching their brothers find success and how you build a program out of that.
Well, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to build a program out of wrestling families. You know, you've seen it with The Simpsons. You've seen it with those types of families. And that's what we want our program to be, is to be consistent families coming through, buying into the program, and one after another, that's what you're going to see. So it's definitely fun now having the second wave and third wave of little brothers coming through. So I'm just as excited for next year's teams as I've been the last couple of years.
So one of the guys we're going to talk specifically about, of course, is Brayden Leach here. Before we get to him, you said a couple of those other names here. When you look back on this season, you think about some of those guys, you know, obviously Little breaking through for that title, seeing some great wrestling from some of the other guys out there, and a David and a Mikey, just the constants, you know, whether it's going back to duels, going back to the traditional state tournament, just, you know, highlight some of those guys again here and some of those younger guys that made some impacts here too.
Yeah, you know, I continually say, just like we did up here in the first place, iron sharpens iron. You know, look at what we've done. Coach Melzoni's around Peter, and he treats him like one of his own, because he is. He's with him just as much as I am when they're traveling out in the P&L tour. And I was in his son's corner in Fargo, and it goes back to the camaraderie, the consistency, and just the leadership in Williamson County amongst the coaches and the wrestlers. You know, you saw it right before the state finals. Our guys are hanging out, you know, doing stuff like that. When other programs are staring at us like, what are you doing, talking to the enemy? They're not the enemy. We grew up together. We trained with each other. That's what we made it all about. And we've kind of taken that weight off our shoulders as a county and not made things bigger than what they are. But I'll go back to this again. Consistently training with one another right now, like what we're doing in the off season, is exactly what we're going to continue to do to make each other better.
Well, and then sure enough, look at some of those results here. Just in the, you know, earlier this month, we went 2-3-4 in the county here. And if we put anybody else there too, same kind of thing. But just that ability of, you said it, I think in 2015 about iron sharpens iron. And now everybody as a county is kind of building off of that. That's pretty special stuff, Coach, got to say. when it comes to this young man, Brayden here, before we get him, I'm going to keep you up here too so we could really pick at him because
I'm
we're
ready.
not going to have a lot of opportunity to do this anymore.
He's wearing that shirt he stole from me again.
As always, right?
Yeah.
Thinking of Mr. Leach here, he was one of our recent Gateway Tire Athletes of the Week, and of course he had to be. He's a state champion. He was as a 4-time region champ, all these different things. His resume is pretty stacked up. How do you describe this young man?
Well, now we add TWSAA Best Wrestler in the state tournament. That's pretty awesome. You know, that's the #1 highest distinction you can get as a wrestler in the state of Tennessee. And for Brayden Leach to get that representing Summit High School is super special. So he's earned it. He's a phenomenal young man. I'm sad to lose him. I'm trying to figure out a way, like we've done so far in that NIL and community college way, to figure out how we can pull him back in and give him another year of eligibility.
Brayden, if you don't mind, come on up here and join us here. Coach?
He's gained some weight last time, so he might need to scoot down a little bit.
Wasn't he hanging out on spring break, too? I mean,
yeah.
So
he told me he got sunburned.
Okay. It's a good time to wear a white shirt, I think. That helps out with the sun side there. Well, he didn't have to do any weigh-ins recently, so it's all right, right? Yeah.
Got to eat all the food I wanted.
Yeah.
It was good.
What was the go-to after championship meal by chance?
Lasagna. I like lasagna.
Okay, all right. Again, for all our fans out there, this is Brayden Leach, a senior here at Summit High School, a multiple state placer, a 2-time state champion, and as Coach said, hey, the best wrestler at the state tournament. Brayden, we got to chat about that one after that. I know that was on the list of goals here, man. When you get that kind of recognition, I mean, just tell me what was going through your mind to get that.
It was great. I was striving for it. It was just because the 2 older guys, they didn't get it, so I knew I had to get that one to have something on them. So that was really special.
Coach, that's one of those, you know, everybody thinks about getting to that stage. You want to get into that medal round. You want to be wrestling on Saturday afternoon, but then to take it to another level and get that kind of recognition, tell us about what that means.
We knew that was the mission since day one. I mean, we talked about it in August. So what are we going to do to make sure that we win the best wrestler at the state tournament? And he goes out there and he gets it done. He wrestles so hard. I remember the state finals. Like I always say before every match, hey, man, go have fun. Don't hurt yourself. And when the ref wasn't calling a pin, I'm like, oh, my God, don't kill this kid. Like, Jesus, just ref, please call the pin. I felt so bad. And he just kept squeezing. That kid's life just kept going out of him. I think it could have saved a whole lot of people if he would have called that pin a little bit faster. But he got the job done. He wrestles as hard as he can, and that's all we ask every time he steps on the mat, and he does just that.
Brayden, coming into the state tournament, you were ultra-focused there, obviously, and you wanted the opportunity to have that. I mean, you were working fast, trying to score fast, get things done. Tell us about your focus going into the state tournament.
I was trying to get all first-period pins. All my matches except for the finals were a first-period pin, so I was a little disappointed I didn't get it in the finals, but it's whatever, but we just had to score points.
He didn't lift enough. That was his problem.
I lifted.
He skipped the lift day.
Yeah.
I tell you, that's a heck of a goal to go out there first period pins at the state tournament stage for that matter. Coach, when you have a guy like that, and I know you've had several guys like that here now too, just tell me about what kind of mindset it takes and what kind of hard work it takes to even have that as a possibility.
You're exactly right. I love picking his brain more than anything. You know, we'll stand there, I'll crack a little cat joke, stuff like that. Hey, what are we thinking? I like figuring out his brain just as much as anybody else because I want to take it, dissect it, and share it with everybody else. He's a special one. I love studying him still to this day. But he knows now, too, that even though he may not be in a Summit singlet, he's got a job to do. He's got a little brother sitting over there that wants to be just as successful, and he has a lot of other wrestlers in this program that look up to him. So everything he does from now on is going to be gold for us.
Brayden, can you kind of speak a little bit of that? Coach and I were chatting about it, how he's kind of in that other generation of some younger brothers of sorts now, too, and then even younger ones coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You got to wrestle here, obviously, with your younger brother here, too. Tell us about that connection and knowing, hey, it's his turn now.
Yeah, it was fun wrestling with him this year. I feel like it made us a lot closer, especially just throughout the year, him asking me for stuff, asking for advice, and he's coming along. He didn't really like wrestling when he was little, but he's liking it a lot more now.
This program has been kind of decorated with the sibling setup here a lot, too. And then, obviously, you guys end up working so close together. There's a true brotherhood that comes out of that. Can you just kind of speak on that camaraderie you all share? And then, sure enough, there are older brothers and little brothers we've seen for a while here now.
Yeah. I feel like all of us have a really good like bond together, especially me, Peter, and Zachary. That was like the main three this year, I feel like. And then years like previous, like me, Landon Jarvis, Jackson Bourne, I feel like we all just had like a good like just bond together. We always like hang out outside of wrestling. It's like we're just practice partners. We're actually friends outside of the mat.
Sure enough, Coach kind of alluded to this too. Beyond just the team here, we got lots of buddies throughout the county, throughout the state for that matter here. But the idea of working with, other guys out of your program specifically, tell me about that kind of mindset and just how you kind of take that on. Because, we wrestle against you and I'm trying to beat you, but we're getting better together too.
Yeah, especially at like Coach Hatcher's practices. That's where everyone's at. I wrestle a lot of guys there that I've wrestled in matches. I don't really take it into consideration. I just try to get better at practice, and then when I wrestle them on the mat, I'm just gonna go out and do my job. So I don't really take it too personal. But I mean, at the end of the day, you got to win your match.
Coach, this is one of those veteran guys we've got to see for a long time. I know you've been with Brayden for a long time too, and seeing him get to this level that he's at, just what kind of thoughts come to mind for that?
Oh, it's been fun, being able to be in his corner since 6th grade year, his bleached blonde hair, stuff like that, winning 3 county championships. Then his freshman year, I remember Maurice Patton had posted something about the JV kid. And we took that and we ran with it and we used it as fuel for the fire, and so that was kind of something we had used. And ever since then, he has just been taking off, getting better every time he steps foot on the mat. And that's all we ever ask. He wrestles 100 miles an hour. I've been very blessed to have him in the program. Thankful for everything he did. This year wasn't easy. He could have hung it up and said, hey, man, I'm done. His body's not 100%. But he stepped up for the team. He got the job done. And multiple times he wasn't feeling 100%. Not only did he step up for the team, he beat the crap out of the other guy, not even feeling great. And he'd come off the mat, and I'd say, hey, man, you feel good? Nah. I go, and think how bad that guy feels after what you just did to him, man. You wrestled great. Thank you. He just kind of smiled on his face. All right, thanks, Coach. That's the type of guy that he is. He's going to get the job done no matter how he feels. He's a team player. He's one of those that we need 100 more like him.
Man, Brayden, when it comes to just that, fighting through it, wrestling's one of those where, you get dinged up, you're banged up consistently. And sure enough, you were going through some stuff this season, obviously. But to just push that aside and work hard and find ways to win, tell me how you were able to do that.
My teammates and my parents and my coaches really helped me through it. I got the flu like right before senior night, and that was horrible. I was out for like a week. I couldn't practice. I was laying in bed. And then before that, I tore my shoulder, so I was kind of in a rough spot for a little bit, but I had guys that helped me, and they backed me up with it, so it helped out.
I see. One thing with both of you guys up here I'd like to chat a little bit about, because I'm actually trying to get my wife, who I know is watching, to let me go hang out in a place called Fargo.
Yes.
When it comes to you guys, and Brayden, first off, tell me about just what it takes beyond what we see from, say, October to February. You're doing a lot of wrestling. You're traveling a ton. I know we get to really highlight those few months and obviously really highlight February.
Yes, sir.
But tell me about all the other things that you end up doing, the places you go, and just what it takes to be a high-caliber wrestler in the state of Tennessee and beyond.
Yeah, definitely those outside tournaments and those nationals are what elevates my game. I feel like that's with every wrestler. You can't just wrestle in-state. If you want to be great, you got to go out. You got to train year-round. You got to find people that'll beat you. If you're just beating up on people all year, you're not going to get any better. But if you're finding people to beat you, it's definitely gonna open your eyes on what's bad in your wrestling and then what you can work on.
Coach, I feel like that's a coach speak right there. I mean, that's when you're going out, you're facing people from other states, elite people from other states. How does that make your wrestling that much better?
You're exactly right. I tell them, if I can't find you a loss by the time of Christmas, I'm either not doing my job or you're a heck of a wrestler, which we're still a heck of a wrestler when we look at some of our losses. I mean, the 2 losses he had on the season this year were the 2 top 10 contenders. That's not too shabby. And to go out and still be ranked guys in the country is pretty impressive what he's done.
When it comes to taking the mat and lining up with somebody who's nationally ranked on the other side, Brayden, what's going through your mind? How do you elevate to that stage?
Not much is really going through my mind. I just believe in my training. I don't really get scared before I wrestle, so I know I'm just going to wrestle the same every time. I look to score points every time I step on the mat.
Let's chat a little future here before I let you guys go here. Coach, he's staying relatively close. We get to see some guys actually from the area on this team here too. But tell me about his setup here and going towards Chattanooga.
Oh, yeah, my dad's super excited. He's already going to take him under his wing. My dad has another son that's moving into Chattanooga. But, no, I'm definitely glad to have him close to home. Coach Rochelle and I talk about once a week about how excited they are to be able to get him into the room as soon as possible. And they know they have a special one. That's why they want to keep him kind of under wraps. So we kept talking about these big tournaments we want to take him to. Like, no, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, yeah, we want to do that. So they're getting a special one. Can't wait to see what he's going to do there at UT Chattanooga. I'm super excited for him. I know my dad is too.
Brayden, I think we've been able to chat about it a couple times, but that fit for you, how excited now that it's right there, man. I mean, we're going to be there shortly here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm super excited. I know it's the place where I need to be to improve and get better. And I just like the environment there. I like all the coaches. All the guys are cool with me, even the older guys. They don't treat me like a punk. So, yeah, they all like me.
Everybody knows who Brayden Leach is already, right?
Yeah, otherwise he'll tell Kendrick, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, guys, really quick, too, thinking about having other local wrestlers at that college level here, too. Brayden, you, first off, looking in over these last few years, I feel like as a county we've been able to push guys, and you have teammates, wrestling at other spots here and doing this in college. Can you tell me about that as a motivation factor for you, knowing like, hey, these are my buddies and they're doing it, so I'm going to go do it too?
Yes, sir. It definitely helps me have like goals to look forward to. I see what my buddies are doing that are older than me, and it just makes me more motivated to wrestle hard.
Coach, that having some of those guys that we can lean on, recent guys here to show the younger ones, to have them come back in the summer and hang out with them and roll around with the guys, how big is that for not just your team but for this whole area?
It's fantastic, and it's the conversations they have when nobody's around, just about the life stuff and things that we don't really think about, that they're able to have those conversations about in June and July. That's big time, having those guys around to be able to ask those questions, figure out those types of things. But on to Tennessee and kind of the sport of wrestling as a whole. If you haven't seen, Tennessee just qualified 6 for the NCAA wrestling tournament. That is absolutely phenomenal. And we talk about these big-time tournaments. He's been on these teams with these guys that are wrestling NCAAs. He's been to these types of tournaments. And so the groups of kids you're seeing coming through are following in those footsteps. But again, I just want to brag on 6 NCAA qualifiers from the state of Tennessee. It's going to be pretty exciting this weekend.
Brayden, seeing that and finding motivation to try to be one of those guys, tell me about that mindset.
Yes, sir. That's definitely the goal. My first goal is to go in and just get better at wrestling, but of course I want to make it to the national championship place, win it. But yeah, I'm just super excited to get in the college room and see where it can take me.
Last thing, as a senior here, Brayden, tell us, give some parting advice. I had Olivia do it here from basketball side, but for those younger guys, for your brother, for everyone kind of coming up, and even beyond the high school side, just what kind of advice do you have as a high school senior and a high school student athlete?
Yeah, just work hard, be good in school, and then enjoy it because it goes by really quick. I remember all the dudes that were older than me, like Luke Justice, he was telling me it goes quick, and I didn't really believe him, but it does. It goes by really fast.
And for both of you, talk to my wife here specifically about how I have to go hang out in Fargo, North Dakota.
Absolutely.
Guys.
Hey, one of those Tennessee qualifiers for the national tournament, Aiden Bruneau, he's at North Dakota State right now, so many reasons for us to be able to head up that way.
I like it. Guys, Brayden, actually, before we go here, I got the actual plaque to present with you.
All right.
Congratulations, young
Thank
man. Again, everybody, this is Brayden Leach, Summit High School senior, a multiple state champion here. Really excited to keep him close, and we get to watch him here in Tennessee. It's going to be really special. Coach Pete Miller of Summit High. Guys, thank you guys so much for coming and joining us, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Again, this is the WillCo Sports Power Hour. Really happy to have this one. I know it's been busy here with St. Patrick's Day, so thank you guys so much for joining, for hanging, and really just being a part of this great atmosphere at Tony's Eat and Drink. Again, we're here every Monday night. We're going to have a bit of an early show next week, so we'll be coming on at 5 o'clock rather than 6, but really excited to that. thanks to our great guests tonight. We had the Independence boys basketball team here. We had the Brentwood girls basketball team represented, and of course the Summit wrestling team here too. A quick note, obviously so many of those great spring sports happening out here. We got baseball games all over. We got soccer, but we still have one high school basketball team too. So Thursday night, the Independence boys in their third consecutive Class 4A state tournament. They face Whitehaven, 8:45 p.m., the Glass House in Murfreesboro. That's where I'm going to be hanging for sure. But Thursday night, we'll see if the Indy boys can keep it going. Again, this is live streamed. It's been out there. Check it out on Facebook. It's recorded. It'll be on YouTube later as well. But thank you all for joining us here for the WillCo Sports Power Hour. My name's Charles Pulliam with the Williamson Herald. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much.